quarterback, number 19. Bernie, Bernie, oh yeah, how you can throw. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bernie, Bernie, oh baby, Super Bowl. He came from Miami, was oh so young. Rifles to the wizard, my one and gun. Takes the snap, drops back, looks down the field. Brennan breaks open, the victory sealed. Bernie, Bernie, oh yeah, how you can throw. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bernie, Bernie, oh baby, Super Bowl. The dogs are barking, we're all having fun. Bernie will lead us to that place in the sun. He's got style and class at age 23. The MVP of the AFC. Bernie, Bernie, oh yeah, how you can throw. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bernie, Bernie, oh baby, Super Bowl. Bernie, Bernie. Cody and Bab keep the blitz at bay. Give Bernie some time, he'll make the big play. He's got style and class at age 23. The MVP of the AFC. Bernie, Bernie, oh yeah, how you can throw. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bernie, Bernie, oh baby, Super Bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to 5-Star Collectibles in Streetsboro, Ohio. I am with 330 to go. I am Mike Voorhees. I am here with the legendary, the iconic man, myth, legend, Bernie Kosar. Bernie, it's an honor. It's a pleasure. My childhood hero. This is awesome.
Thanks, Mike. Great to be with you tonight. Thank you for slowing up my cranium.
Of course.
Making me feel a little old here. You're right in
Never.
a sweet spot of remembering some good Browns victories in the old days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're here at 5-Star Collectibles. Like we said, you can find us, you watching us live. You've got Primetime Sports as well. We're going to be, Bernie's going to be autographing some stuff tonight. We're going to get some questions, some grilling, deep questions tonight, I think. I'm just
ask
kidding.
what you want. Fans out there, Mike, you could ask what you need. All of our viewers out there.
Absolutely. We'll see the questions in real time. We will ask away. But Bernie, well, I'm going to start off with probably the easiest one, I think. What is your favorite highlight from your playing career in Cleveland?
Okay. Favorite highlight from playing in Cleveland. God, I don't want to start off, Mike, by sounding a little too cocky or egotistical.
Never.
Nor do I want to be stumped on the first question.
Right.
But sitting here, I'm really kind of buying time to answer that because, again, it sounds a little cocky. I'm trying not to say this out of my mouth, but God, I really feel so blessed that there's probably not just one. There's so many kind of cool memories, and maybe that's a little egotistical to say that in terms of, so many cool emotional games to be played here. As a little boy growing up in Youngstown, Ohio, to be halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and back
You can't say that word. You can't say Pittsburgh.
Well, and
can't do that.
growing up in Youngstown, where
Right.
our Cleveland Browns never won in Three River Stadium, and as a little boy, seeing that the the Steelers always beating the Browns, especially in Three Rivers Stadium. Those Browns-Steelers games really meant a lot to me. So, kind of being able to break that streak, the Three Rivers jinx streak, and then the overtime game against the Steelers in 86 and 87. Those are kind of special games for me just because of growing up in Youngstown. But, that Jets double overtime game.
Oh, my goodness. What a game.
Games like that are, so iconic in there. And when I was playing, I'm not sure, maybe you enjoyed so much the emotion of it.
Yeah.
Because, now as you get older and you kind of reflect back on it, and I had a really awesome experience just this past weekend. A grandmother came up to me and she goes, "Man, I'm not really a football fan, but I love you so much. I can't thank you enough. Sunday afternoon used to be so much fun in the 80s when you played football because the men in the house were always happy." It's not a shot at anything here lately, but they said it's been a rough century. That the Sundays afternoon weren't as friendly, weren't as festive around the house for the moms and the grandmas, and that was pretty touching to me.
Oh, just the memories of sitting around the television watching you play. I mean, now I got to ask you just a personal question. So of all
I'm chuckling as you say sitting around the television watching us play. I'm grabbing a juice here now.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well.
My new lifestyle. But when you're sitting around the Sunday afternoon Browns games, I don't think you're drinking juice.
No,
you're drinking a little more.
I was younger then, so probably milk, maybe some pop. Who knows?
Okay.
But of all of the different receivers that you had at your disposal, who was your favorite to throw to?
Loaded question.
Yes.
Okay, depending on who I'm talking to. But again, almost like the last answer, I'm so blessed to play with so many amazing
you had so many
receivers. As a rookie in 1985, 21 years old, still kind of one of the youngest quarterbacks to play in the NFL. Here I am, 21 years old, in the huddle with Hall of Famer grown men, Cody Risen, Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome is a tight end, and I'm remembering myself really not wanting to be the reason his streak didn't continue. Didn't want to be the reason that the success that he didn't continue.
Right.
So guys like that were awesome. Playing with Webster Slaughter, Reggie Langhorne, Brian Brennan. I'm probably going to leave out some guys, but that type of gifts to play with guys like that. I played with Michael Irvin in college and Eddie Brown. Played with Mike again back at in Dallas. So to get that opportunity to play with top tier receivers. I say this to young quarterbacks out there, and for people who judge quarterbacks, we're victims or beneficiaries of the guys around us.
Mm-hmm.
So having good receivers, having good offensive line, absolutely is conducive to being a good quarterback.
And you also had some amazing running backs too. Viner, Mack, Metcalf. I mean, the list.
Leroy Horde.
I mean, the list
absolutely.
goes on and on.
That's one of the probably kind of hidden things that I think's in my kind of DNA of how I like to run offenses, what I believe in successful offenses. I kind of have that reputation as a guy who threw excessively. I did like to make you pay for blitzes and did like to challenge you deep down the field a couple times a quarter and stuff. But there was always a balance, almost a 50-50 balance of run and pass. And I love the two backs and the running game that Coach Stefanski, Andrew Berry has put together with our Cleveland Browns now, eerily similar to the two backs and the backs and the running game that we had back in the 80s. And the power running game that was predominant in our success with the deep throws in the mid 80s. I love how people say, God, the game's changed. Everything's changed so much. It's so much more sophisticated. But really, the core principles of football for the Cleveland Browns are very similar in the mid 80s to what they are in the running game today in 2022 and what we did in 2021 and 2022.
Oh, it's an exciting future for Cleveland Browns fans for sure. And one other question I got to ask, and I see we've got a few.
Questions are rolling out there.
Everybody wants to pick your brain. I mean, you are Cleveland royalty. Like the higher, like we were talking before we went on the air of like the Mount Rushmore of Cleveland sports, you would definitely be on that Mount Rushmore.
Well, thank you.
You
I got
would be.
I got a little lost and fixated on how you want to pick my brain. So, as a wannabe humorist and wannabe levity and stuff, the remaining part of my non-CTE TDI brain, you could pick all you want away at it.
We got a question from Ron. Bernie, out of all the teams that you played for, which organization treated the players the best? That might be a loaded question.
Wow, is that a loaded question?
That might be a loaded question.
I was really blessed. And I know saying this in Cleveland for Art Modell and the Browns organization of the 80s. I was so blessed, unfortunately getting released here, but then getting released here to go down to the Dallas Cowboys and play with Jerry Jones, despite no matter whether people say they like him or don't like him, he treats the football team super first class. So to go from the Browns, Art Modell, to Jerry Jones, and the Cowboys, those are in terms of how they treated the players was exceptional there. And then to go to the Dolphins, where Wayne Huizenga, God bless him, has passed, owned the Miami Dolphins. So I was super blessed with 3 organizations that were super good to us as players.
So I'm going to piggyback off of the Cowboys, and I know Browns fans. Yes, we didn't have you. What was it like to win your Super Bowl in Dallas?
So as you're saying that, and I'm taking a drink, and I don't want to drop the Super Bowl ring over here on that. That was almost like I went to the production meeting.
I know, right? You knew exactly what we were doing, right?
Maybe I don't have as much CTE or TBI as I thought because I'm Nostradamus right now. I predicted. I saw the future question coming.
That's great. I love it.
You know, so many of us players, quarterbacks, are ultimately judged by whether you end up with a ring or not.
I mean, look, if the camera can see that, look at this. Look at this ring. That's
well,
amazing.
I actually say this story that I've had 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones from football. If you look at this ring, it used to go right here. We could see that one's broken.
No.
That's not from football. That was daughters having poor choices of boyfriends.
Whoa.
So
we may have to talk about
so
that.
it used to
a
go
little
over
bit.
there, yeah. If you could see the
Wow.
math of that fits pretty good there.
So I saw Jeremy with a question, and I don't know how you're going to answer this one and answer it correctly. Who wins a championship first, the Cleveland Browns or the Cleveland Guardians?
Whoa.
Yeah, see, again, a loaded question.
I'm a fan of both of them. You know, people get on the Guardians. I love the consistency of the Guardians year in and year out. Tito is the head coach. The organization we're competing every year for the playoffs. So I love how they kind of run the organization from that perspective. And the Browns, in terms of with Andrew Berry and the attempt now with Deshaun of increasing the talent on the team. I'm a Kevin Stefanski fan. I'm not saying that to be politically right. I do really like how he handles the team and organization.
Could we go wrong with either one? I mean, Cleveland, we know, is a title-starved town. Look what happened when the Cavs won their NBA Finals championship. And I think the Browns and the Guardians are very much on their way to potentially getting those championships.
You know, one of the things that I think about and really being fixated on the Browns and the Super Bowl, because that's kind of my sport and kind of know a pathway, whether it was in college getting a national championship or finding a way to get a Super Bowl in the pros, is there's certain coaches, and I've been so blessed, man, to have some of the best coaches. I mean, I had Howard Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson 3 times. I'm the only guy to have been with Jimmy Johnson at the University of Miami, the Cowboys, and then the Dolphins. Bill Belichick, Marty Schottenheimer, Don Shula. I mean, to have coaches like that, to be so blessed with that type of coaching really is kind of put me in, I think, in a spot to kind of look at how you should maybe look at expectations. So everybody says they want to win the Super Bowl. They want to win the World Series. Marty Schottenheimer and my good coaches said, let's do first things first. Win your division.
Yeah.
Win the division, get a home playoff game, and get to the tournament, and then things take care of itself. And I kind of like, here in Cleveland, we talk at the beginning of the year. I know we want to go to the Super Bowl. I know the goal is to win the Super Bowl. But the best way to attempt to get to the Super Bowl is, I'd like to see us, and I see some of the guys now talking about, let's win the division first.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always our goal, trying to win the division first. And if you won your division, you got a home playoff game, you had that opportunity now to get to the big dance. And I could see, as much as I think our team has gotten better,
Mm-hmm.
and without having a first and second round draft pick, I actually think it was pretty impressive to fill in some holes like we did from a personnel standpoint. Unfortunately, our conference and our division is friggin' loaded.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So our division and conference has actually gotten significantly better too. So yeah, we're better. I love that it's the second year
Mhm.
with Deshaun having 6 games last year. I mean, yeah, you wanted to see from a team perspective better stuff, but the reality of not playing for almost 700 days.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay,
That's
now
a
to
long
step
time.
in, at week 12, where everybody else is almost in mid-season timing form, and
Mhm.
you've got to kind of learn on the run. That was a tough challenge. And now getting kind of the rust out and having a full off season to really establish himself as the leader and be able to really control a locker room and a huddle. When you're suspended and you're sharing the quarterback position like we did last year,
Mhm.
it's hard to kind of really establish yourself as the leader. I don't think he's going to have those issues establishing himself as the leader of the team this year.
It's going to be a great season. I want to know, and I know the fans want to know, what items are available tonight for Bernie to sign?
Right. Glad you asked that. We got lots of great items available. Right. And we have all these items. All you have to do is message us at the 5-Star Collectibles page with anything you'd like to see Bernie sign tonight, and you just message us, and we can get that for you, and we can put that up there on the table. And all the pricing includes shipping, so you don't have to worry about shipping. So all the 16 by 20s there are $70 shipped. All you have to do is let us know the message with the letter. We can get that for you. Lots of great images there of the Cleveland Great. We have some 11 by 14s. Those are $60. So all you got to do is message us at 5-Star Collectibles in the messenger. That way we can save the feed for all the questions for Bernie. Just let us know what you'd like to get signed. We have 8 by 10s available for $50 shipped. Great items. We even got one up here with Bernie and President Reagan right there.
He used to come out to practice.
We got
That's
the spray
awesome.
relief right there, the spray relief that he'll be speaking about a little bit. You can
That's how I started my holistic journey. Yes.
We got the triplets piece. We even got some helmets that are signed by Brian Sight that we can add your two of your favorite quarterbacks on.
Oh, you got to pull me a couple of those, bro.
All right, we even got full-size helmets. These are the cool brown
While we're doing that, we'll
full-size helmets.
start signing things. People love to
We can
watch.
have there. We have some limited edition hoodies right there that you can purchase. And then we have jerseys. We have some jerseys right there from the U, and we got some Browns jerseys. And we got some footballs. Lots of great items today. All you have to do is message
Share us out, guys. Share us out.
Message us at 5-Star Collectibles.
Let everybody know we're live. We got
And we will
lots
get
of
your
cool-
item signed for you on camera. We'll
cool
take it
things
up there
going
and get it signed for you. We'll get you all that information. So
There you
anything
go, bro.
that you're interested in getting signed, just shoot us a message, and we can take care of that.
It's so cool to see all the different memorabilia, and I happened to glance over as they were showing some, but just the smile you had on your face as you see
you can
some of those items. And absolutely, guys, message 5-Star on their Facebook if you're interested. Obviously, we're not going to take any in the comments. You've got to message them. I mean, I'm seeing all these favorite questions. I love this.
It's we were talking off air before we started, And I know we started with the Bernie song.
Yep.
And Mike, you're kind of joking about how, I must love that song.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was so focused on winning and just focused on football that really anything on the outside I didn't really pay attention to. So that song, I didn't overly enjoy it because it wasn't about the plays. But then I got married, started having children, having 4 kids, being a Mr. Mom, and my kids loved it. So that was like a massive swelling of my cranium for that being my kids when they were young, their favorite.
Yeah. As your
Oh,
son.
some game tickets.
Yeah,
there.
you got to have some game
Yeah.
tickets. Hopefully they were winners, right? I believe so.
Well, one was your last game, and one was your first game with the most touchdowns or something. This was your
What
last
was
game,
that?
he said. So
That's fantastic.
I don't know if that's true or not.
No. So I'm looking at this right now.
That's Browns game.
I'm
true?
shaking right here. So this is the Browns Broncos game. Okay, the ticket from it that I'm signing. This was actually the game. My last pass as a Brown, I drew in the dirt. It was a square in takeoff to Michael Jackson. This picture with the ticket is of Dennis Smith with the ball in his hand. This is absolutely not what happened on that last play because I drew a square in takeoff. I love Dennis Smith. He's in the Hall of Fame. But he was very aggressive, and he would jump up and he'd try to pick off the plays. And as a safety, he's always trying to, one of those old school big hitters who would try to like wipe out the receiver. So Michael Jackson, we'd never run a square in takeoff where he'd go down about 16 yards, cut across the middle. Dennis Smith would always kind of want to jump up and really decapitate him, which he'd be suspended in today's game for.
Right.
So I noticed that, and I said, "Hey, Mike," I went down on the ground, drew in the dirt. "Hey, go down 16 yards, do 2 full steps, and then go right to the post." So on my last pass to Brown, went for a touchdown, went to the sideline, so fired up. Bill was not festive.
He was not happy.
I thought it
he
was
just wants you to sign the bottom part here. If you could just.
okay.
So while you're doing that, Bernie, I got another question that's popping up here.
All right, I got to tell you before you get to that question,
Yeah.
though. So this one I'm signing here is the rookie year Houston Oilers ticket.
Wow. Okay.
It's amazing. I can't remember with the TBI, the traumatic brain injury, what I had for dinner an hour ago. But in 1985, I can remember my first start at the Astrodome. Okay, and I remember we had to beat them in December, and Houston came up, and that was nice. That was my first 3 touchdown passing
That's awesome.
performance as a rookie.
So one of the questions I saw earlier, and I have to ask because why not? Are you friends with John Elway?
So the short answer, I want to give all kinds of levity. The short answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But the real answer.
The true answer is yes. But when we're playing and you're going through that stuff, and this isn't right for the young kids out there. Okay. But football was different back then, and I'm not saying it was right because it was life and death, and that we had some really archaic rules. Like non-fraternization rules, not socializing on or off the field type things. So you almost developed the hatred for the other team, so that it was really was life or death out there. And then the game was life or death to us. So it was tough to kind of separate that from them. So I'm traveling. It's the year 2023. Okay, I've been retired now for about 30 years. Okay, that game was about 35 years ago. Just 2 weeks ago, I'm connecting through Denver, and it took me 35 years to be able to actually stop by the Elway Steakhouse. So I finally got there. So in my healing process, I am getting a little more therapeutically healthy.
That might be the best answer I've ever heard. That's fantastic. I love it. I got one more question for you, Bernie, about football, and then I definitely want to dive into what's on the table, all the health and the wellness. So we joked about this off air. I wanted to tell you this. I asked you this question ahead of time, but you were sacked 273 times as a quarterback. Of those who sacked you, do you have a favorite player that was able to sack you, or was there a player that you were trying to avoid getting hit by?
Just about everybody I'm trying to avoid getting hit by. For the young listeners and viewers out there, they probably don't know how slow I really was. So the sack avoidance was not my strong suit, okay, by the 273 number. Which, thank you, by the way.
I'm sorry. I thought you knew that number. When I told you and you said you didn't, I felt really bad. I'm like, I don't think that's high, though. So you had a fantastic career.
Well, but in the old days, actually the sacks weren't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the 273 sacks weren't as bad as the way you were allowed to wipe the quarterback out with late hits back then. So I know people say, oh, the game's not as tough as it used to be. Wish they could get hit like they used to. I'm so glad they don't really let the QBs get hit the way they used to, because it was actually the throws when you're not sacked, because when you're extended, you're throwing like this where your chest is open, your face, my elbow and stuff. So those type of injuries really still kind of settled on you. So almost like the question of what's my favorite game, what's my favorite receiver, you can't narrow it down. God, the thoughts going through my head in terms of the lineman who sacked me. I mean, I was teammates with Jerome Brown, and he was crushing me with the Philadelphia Eagles. Reggie White, Chris Dolman.
Wow.
I'm showing you a picture on my phone. I don't know if you see this. On my
for not, I can describe it.
This is I got a picture on him. This is Michael Kofer. Okay, he was 6'4", 250. I'm almost 6'6". He's perpendicular, parallel to the ground, up at my head. That was about 0.2 seconds away before I got decapitated and broke a couple ribs there. But those four guys that I mentioned, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Michael Kofer, Chris Dolman, God, these guys are amazing Hall of Fame type guys. Every one of them has passed away. Each one of those guys I just mentioned. There's a sick stat that I'm not sure how accurate it is. I don't want to get overly emotional with this, but that if you played more than 7 years in the league, life expectancy is under 60 years old. So I'm 59. These guys, none of them made 60 years old. I love Chris Dolman. Okay, I love Chris Dolman. Played against him in college at the University of Pitt. Played against him multiple times, the Browns and the Cowboys. The way he passed, the way we passed at the end, it's really challenging stuff to see awesome men like that being challenged to, and I don't even want to say at the end of life, because at 59 that shouldn't be old, but unfortunately that's kind of why I obsess on some of this health and wellness stuff. I'm not trying to sell or anything here, but it's like being somebody that was challenged myself like these guys. How do you, after 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones, 100 concussions, almost 15 seizures, the last couple, I'm in a coma for 72 and 96 hours. Being, I've told the story a few times, being medicated since I retired in 1997 for more than 50 pills a day. When you have these surgeries, you have these seizures, you come out. Heck, the last one, I came out of a coma in the 96th hour. The doc said, "Man, you're doing great. You're so tough. Keep up with your prescriptions and your protocols." Like, bro, that's what's killing me. So that's actually when I started, I started heavily. I'm juicing now. I mean, this used to be vodka infused, and now it's beet and cranberry juice with heavy water. But, juicing, IV therapy, smart supplementation that I'm doing with some of my stuff from Amino Life. I mean, we were joking earlier about the spray relief. Started with non-narcotic, short-term spray relief. I mean, doing things like regrowing, reactivating stem cells. There's a lot of holistic, natural things that you're able to do with companies now that really saved my life. And, it started as a kind of a crusade of self-medication that had some negative effects, but I had so many friends that haven't been making it, that we knew if we didn't figure out a way to kind of get off the pills and figure out a way to really stop the swelling, stop the pain, stop the ringing in our heads, that it wasn't gonna end pretty for us, and we weren't gonna kind of be the influences that we wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know where you stand with CTE and player safety. Can you kind of go through, like, what's your daily regimen? You talk about the juices, you talk about the spray and the supplements. What's your daily regimen? What's been extremely successful for you?
Well, because of some of the guys who are sacking me, like Steve McMichael, who's unfortunately going through a terrible thing right now with ALS, and there's a lot of neurological things that we work on, that I work on, from the IV therapy to absolutely try to slow down the deterioration of our brains and stuff. On a lighter note, the Mark Gastineau sack of mine, the Lawrence Taylor's sack of mine, where I used to joke to LT that I could count the lights at the Meadowlands Stadium from him laying me on my ass so many times, laying on top of me, to why we've got to work on our health and wellness now. And so many of the guys, we had those type of injuries. We kind of go through stuff, but it's like people actually ask me, do you regret playing? Do you regret wish you didn't go through that? And actually now, in a, I don't want to say demented way, I actually feel like I'm glad I went through it, almost like it was a responsibility to learn how to get myself healthy, kind of come out the other side. And when I was younger, growing up in Youngstown, I kind of thought it was cool. It was my responsibility or destiny to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and I'm super proud of it. I mean, I love the part of my DNA of being a QB. I'm sure it's always going to be a part of me, but now getting into the late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life, it's almost like maybe some of the stuff, the injuries I went through as a quarterback, some of the stuff that we're learning that we got to deal with in society, with the opiate deaths, things like that. I mean, just in the state of Ohio, just in the last week since Memorial, we've had over 150 kids die of an overdose death with that. This is an epidemic type stuff going on. And some of the things that I've even said here over the last 5 minutes, it's not easy to say. I don't exactly want to say them. I'm overly proud to say them. But it's almost like now it's a responsibility with so many stuff going on out there, not to say it's okay to admit you have this issue. And even more so, if you have this issue, there's ways to attack this issue that's really healthy, that you can come out the other side. Heck, 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with 5 years left of cognitive brain function. Mike, I couldn't remember first that your name was Mike. I couldn't say cognitive, didn't know what that meant. To sit here and try to articulate, enunciate, communicate any multiple syllable words would have been close to impossible. To talk for north of an hour on a show like this to where you could understand 90-some% of the words was almost impossible to do. So it's I don't say this to brag. I'm not saying it to oversell, but I am saying it for people to start paying attention to some of the stuff we're talking about, that we're doing. There's some, it may look complex, it may look massively expensive. It's, taking care of your health, it's a commitment to it, but it's also a commitment we can make back. That it's not really as complex as it looks to kind of get yourself holistically health and wellness.
Yeah, I see another item that you get to sign. That might be one of my favorite helmets.
Bring it on, huh? Bring that baby on. Huh?
That is amazing. While you're signing that, Bernie, I mean, everybody's commenting, and it's kind of fun to listen to the stories and then read, like somebody, Robert, saying he was there for your first snap in the regular season, your rookie year against the Colts. And that's a memory that he'll have. There was a picture of you and Kenny Pickett on Twitter this week. Somebody wants that signed. Like hearing the Bernie and the Elway versus Bernie stories, and your guys' rivalry, like how everybody enjoys it. Like football is meant to bring everybody together, and that's what you're doing with with your spray, with the juice, with your supplements. You're raising awareness so that people don't have to go through necessarily what you've gone through.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a great point. Whether it's, well, I get this a lot. It's, hey, I'm not as bad as you because I didn't play football. You know, it's degrees of issues right now, and for people, you know, to holistically kind of share together healthy ways to get themselves better. Just like you're saying with players and stuff. You know, when we were younger, I'm not proud to say we were competitive. We didn't consider ourselves friends. We almost a separation of church and state. With age here, there's a little more maturity to us and a little more emotion of remembering what happened. And it's kind of cool now to be getting together. And this past Sunday, I would have been mortified to have spent my Sunday afternoon with it seems like half of the Stiller Alumni Day. But it was so cool to be with Terry Bradshaw, Ryan Shazier.
Wow. Okay.
Kenny Pickett was there. Slash, Cordell Stewart.
Oh, wow. That's a name. Oh.
Rod Woodson. So me and Rod, I played against Rod. Awesome. Yeah, University of Miami, UMatter. And he was at Purdue. And then to play against him with the Steelers all those years. And me and him talked and had more levity in Sunday afternoon than we did all playing against each other. My favorite little 19 here.
I was going to say real quick, what is that like for you to get to sign your own jersey? Like, what kind of feeling does that give you?
Yeah, you know, as we were talking off air earlier, when I was younger, I'm not sure how much I understood or appreciated the emotion of it. Man, I get older now, the seeing the jersey, seeing the people talk about it, it's genuinely spiritually honoring and humbling.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to take a break.
Hey, wait, before we take a break, I got to show this.
Yeah.
So I've been saying, I say the goal, I've been putting, let me see how we do that.
There you go.
There we go. I've been putting the You Matter on there. And I try to sign You Matter, but I say that a lot, You Matter. And yeah, it started when I was at the University of Miami and stuff. But really now, this is something that, just as we're talking about health and wellness, some of the seriousness of issues of kind of the extremism that's kind of going on in society and stuff right now, this kind of not hating, of all getting along. It's kind of been a kind of crusade of mine that I'm really proud of.
I love it.
Well, the voice from the curtain has something to say real quick.
The voice from out of nowhere. Huh?
So I just want to say to you directly, as a fan, as a lifelong fan, it is so important for your voice to be heard on this. And for what you just said to our audience specifically on those matters, dealing with life after football and dealing with life during football, right? And we have this tendency as fans to kind of look at the NFL and people in the ring as modern day gladiators, right? And it's so important for us to remember that you guys are people. And I think this year that really came to the forefront with the Damar Hamlin situation, right?
Yeah, well said. Hank.
Yeah. So I just want to say on behalf of our audience, thank you for speaking out on these matters and make your voice louder.
Wow, thank you, Hank. You know, and to echo, Hank, what you're saying, and I was in a conversation over the weekend with some men, bluntly, about this, and not just men who played football. And here I am at 59 years old saying things, you know, like having 40 surgeries, taken way too many pills, okay, being addicted to opiates, being nervous, having anxiety. Those are not easy things for men to say, especially from Northeastern Ohio. We're trying to represent, all of us, probably too much, or trying to represent how cool we are, how smart we are, how all together we are. It's okay. I know a lot of us men, I've been talking and hearing guys, when you get privately, when I'm talking about something like this, it's almost opening the door for other guys to kind of admit that it's okay to sometimes have anxiety, have some of these, and then seek help. And then sometimes some of the help we're seeking isn't the best advice. So just trying to give healthy, good advice that could get you on a pathway to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to dive a little bit more into this health and wellness and talk a little bit more about CTE.
We're going to take a break.
So what we're gonna
Sign
do,
a few
We're gonna
autographs
have Bernie
here, huh?
sign away
As I'm eluding a skiller
Oh,
tackler
there you
here.
go.
This is one of the rare
know,
ones.
that's right. So now that we're gonna take a little break from talking, this is where I need you guys to help. You're just gonna
Okay.
sign
So,
these as big as you can. This is where I need you guys to get down here and share this out. If you guys want autographs, if you guys want to purchase, get something that remember this theme by,
Get out
get
here.
out here.
Matt's
Gonna be live now, kind of showing you what we have for you to get shipped out to you. It's going to be. I need your help. Share.
And then
And then we got lots more fun stuff to get to.
Yep. All you got to do is message us on 5-star through Messenger and place your orders. So if you see one of these 16 by 20s you like, just let me know the letter. And they are, that's the price of them shipped, $70 shipped. All right, we have lots of great images. We got one there with him leading the huddle. We got the Audible with a custom image that you haven't seen before. This is a real nice one, spotlight against the Bengals right there on E. There's a nice one with Municipal Stadium in the background on F. All you have to do is message us, folks. Message us. We'll get your order. We'll take it up there and get it signed. There's G.
And you can get it personalized too. If you want to personalize,
Yep.
and you get to see Bernie sign your exact piece. I mean, that's
Yep.
That's
There's-
what these are for.
They're for because especially if you're on the West Coast or if you're out there in Denver, like our boy Elway is. Out there, if you want a Kozar autograph, you can get it shipped to you.
hey, John, here's one for you, brother.
There's L. We got K. These are the 11 by 14s.
So
And 11 by 14s are $60 shipped. $60 shipped. All right, and then we got over here some 8 by 10s. We got this one's already signed by Hanford Dixon, Reggie Langhorn. That's a kind of a cool throwback piece. It's even got Bill Cowher on there. All right. Right there we go. Here's some 8 by 10s. 8 by 10s. That's the price shipped. All right. Right there's a Miami U photo. All you got to do is message us. Message us.
Bernie signed some extra inscriptions in here. That
normally are pretty pricey, but you got to matter.
I tell you, I like that, man. So this is my favorite, one of my favorite Browns pictures. This was the Houston Oilers in the old days. Okay, this was the start of a 2-minute drill in Bill Belichick's first year in December. Needed to go down and kick a field goal to get into overtime, score a touchdown to win. Got the ball down to the half-yard line, and the NFL's all-time accurate kicker, Matt Stover, was coming in to kick the field goal in his rookie year. And if you remember the old Browns Stadium, he hooked it right into the dugouts. So
All right, we got full-size helmets here. Full-size helmets. $300. $300 for full-size helmets.
And I don't think he missed a kick for
Brian
2
Sykes
years after that.
helmet.
But I wasn't the quarterback.
We have the limited edition hoodies right there. Big moments, lifetime memories. Scrambling is just opposite of Ryan Wade. Facing Bob's head on. Bernie.
Not yet. What's what we're going to come back
We
and
got some
we're
footballs.
going to dive into the health and wellness.
We got the Browns jerseys. We got the OU jerseys. Right there we go, folks. Message us. Send us a message so we can get these up to Bernie. Get them
And then I saw
signed.
this. I got this reminded
Add to your
too.
collection. And again, these
Kozar19.com. I
prices
saw
are shipped.
that.
Shipping is included.
Oh,
Shipping
yeah.
is included.
And
So
make
if
sure
you're a
that-
Browns backer and you're located somewhere else in the U.S., all you Browns fans out there, message us. This is shipped. We will ship it right to your door. Right to your door. We will ship it right there.
I love reading the comments as they come in. Somebody said, I remember that missed kick. I cried.
Yeah, this is great.
This is great, guys.
Now,
If there's
Here's a cool item.
look at that.
This is
This is a cool item because we did a signing
previously
a couple weeks ago with Brian Sipe. So here we go. Now this is your time, guys. You guys can get dual signed Bernie Kozar added to the Brian Sipe mini helmets. Two of the best quarterbacks ever to play in definitely Cleveland.
Yeah,
And I tell you, it hits all generations.
it does.
Yeah, well, I've been telling you, there's whatever quantity you have, there are going to be a couple missing because I'm taking it. When I was a little boy, that was my Brian was
You know
my
what?
guy.
Don't sign with that one.
Both went on one side.
Yep. You want to sign You want because when they display it,
Okay.
if you, and I know you can make that happen. There's plenty of room for you. These new mini helmets are so difficult.
People are asking how much for the Brian Sipe
So
Bernie dual signed helmet.
they're Matt 5-star will take care of you on that.
5-star.
Message the page.
You must message the page.
The guy, the reason why you have to message the page, we can't talk to you because we have to break that privacy. So you have to message the page for us to be able to speak to you. That way we can get the payments, and that way we can take care of all that. And then 5-star's handling that, and Bernie's just here to, bless us with his presence and give us a great night of Browns talk and health and wellness. Yeah, that's that one. Sorry.
These prices are shipped.
There you go, Pamela. If you didn't hear him, you need to message the page.
You need
You need to message 5-star on Facebook Messenger,
and
and they'll take care of you from there.
While
While you're signing, Bernie, here's another question
for you.
This is from Chris in Canfield. If you had to pick a winner between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, who would you pick? That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good one. So, in the spirit of levity and in the spirit of answering that question, we had that situation arise the last game of the year this year. So when sports betting was legal in the state of Ohio, I am doing these unique things to try to raise awareness and raise money for my charities, and I'm taking some distressed and sometimes people that aren't doing health-wise good through some addiction treatments and health and wellness treatments and stuff. So in the spirit of that, I was trying to raise some money for that in the Browns-Steelers game, and made an inappropriate bet on our Browns. So I will be taking the Browns. So,
unfortunately.
So you know what? And for the listeners out there, I'm not taking those shots at the Browns or making fun of that, because I should know better for that. But really, when you're doing stuff like that, and anybody who knows kind of my financial situation, or doing business-wise and socially now, $19,000 on the Browns to win in Pittsburgh. People probably thought I was on drugs and drinking again, because that's not the bet you're going to make. It was absolutely a promotional thing to raise awareness for the foundation.
Right. Well,
It did not go according to plan.
Yeah, but it happens. We all make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
We learn from them. We move on. It's you can laugh about it now.
Hey, but seriously, as you said it in passing, and for the listeners, the younger kids out there, it's really something that I pride myself on now. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I've made lots of them, actually. It's really tough. You don't want to sit here and say, I made these mistakes, I'm wrong with this. Look in the mirror. You want to really compliment yourself as opposed to critique yourself. But it's so important to be honest with yourself when you make a mistake. And when I make a mistake, I want to own up to it, and I want to get better from it. I don't want to make them twice.
No, that's very well said. More of these mini helmets you get to sign. I mean, that's so cool. Brian Sipe and Bernie Kosar on a mini helmet. Priceless. I mean, it is. It's a priceless memory for sure. I mean, both of those quarterbacks, Cleveland lore for sure.
Watching Brian throw as a kid, late 70s, early 80s, I'm in high school. So I really go from graduating high school in 1982 to starting quarterback on that ticket I signed, winning a national championship in between in 1985. But the winds of Cleveland Stadium, like we talked about the snow earlier, the rain, that stuff didn't bother me at all. Actually, I loved the rain and snow to throw. But the wind was so tough there. And Brian Sipe had such an amazing sense of timing and touch to be able to throw in that wind. And that was something that resonated in my head as a kind of a junior high school boy watching him play, hoping that 4 or 5 years later I'd have that chance to do, but never realistically thinking I'm going to be the guy to be doing that. Now to be hanging out with him all these years later, Now to be sitting here tonight, being cool, tearing up because I'm signing autographs. That's pretty
awesome.
damn awesome.
It's pretty sweet.
Hey, Brian, I love you, brother. I know you ain't watching out there, okay?
You never know. You never know. I mean, super cool stuff here, guys, at Five Star Collectibles. They have anything you could think of. I mean, it's insane the amount of sports memorabilia this place has. As a sports fan, I mean, I'm in awe of everything that's around me.
That one right there is yours, Mike Lynch. Thank you.
There you go, Mike. Mini helmet signed.
So while we're finishing up on those couple things, I want to talk about these great sweatshirts and
Yes, the hoodies.
so listen, these hoodies, I've heard nothing but great stuff about these hoodies. They're limited edition. All right. You know what's so great about this? You want to tell them what's so great about this at the White House?
Oh, that's the cool one. That's so President Reagan, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, when the president calls you, it's something that's a phone call you should take. Early in my career, President Reagan's press secretary, the great Mark Weinberg, was a Cleveland, Ohio guy, and he would invite me to the White House. So President Reagan would let me come to the White House, and this is the his office, and then he would let me hang out in the Lincoln bedroom. So
That's so cool.
So listen,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a special on these. These are limited. There's only 100 of these. Okay, that we have that's in print. I think we have probably about maybe 60 left. And Bernie will sign these for you. If anybody wants these, you can buy these from the store, and Bernie will sign them for you, and he can personalize them to you, and you wear a hoodie.
I be happy to do that. And as I'm looking at that picture, this was super cool. Again, like we're practicing. I think this was Steeler week in like October of '87 or '88, and he comes out there. He's on a campaign trail, and he just shows up at Baldwin Wallace for practice that day. And he calls me in the morning. I don't really take phone calls when I'm practicing and stuff. But when the big dog calls, and says, he calls, he goes, "Hey, I'm in Cleveland today. I'm going to come by practice." I'm like, "Oh my God, I got to go ask coach permission."
What size is this one?
Huh?
So this is size medium. We have a extra large. I'm gonna get one to.
Oh, we on? I got
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So we're live. Yep.
Uh-huh.
So but definitely Bernie will sign one of these to you. It'll write the "You Matter."
So I'm going to read this comment. I don't know who it's directed to, but tell Tornado I'll trade some Steeler players cards for one of those mini helmets.
Uh-huh.
All right. I got you. So my nickname is Tornado.
Okay.
So and they call me that for many reasons.
Okay.
I make messes, is what they're gonna say. I throw stuff around, and they gotta come clean it up after.
Hey,
Like the Tasmanian devil.
Hey,
Right?
is that why we're friends, bro? I throw things around and I'm messy as hell, man.
But look how awesome this is, guys. Look at this. He blew it up. You Matter, Bernie Kosar, 19. We have a few of these. All you got to do is say, "Hey, size," and Bernie will sign it to you. If you want him to add to a certain special somebody, he will do that as well. But feel free to keep messaging 5 Star, and then we'll be able to get you your priceless memorabilia. We had
Found an extra large hoodie. Somebody's gonna get really happy here real quick.
all right.
So Bernie, I think this one's directed to you. Josh says I'll wear one instead of Notre Dame and Pirates if Bernie wants to dress me like he said last time. I don't know if
He
there's
knows.
a story there. I'm sure you know what that
That's
means.
the guy that works for me here. Remember your
Oh,
yeah, always with
Oh, yeah.
Steelers and Notre Dame.
Yes, he scared me, man. Thankfully though, I said wrong. He scared me. When I see Steelers and Notre Dame, it actually gets me massively excited because I was, as a young boy, Catholic boy in Youngstown, Ohio, who wanted to go to Notre Dame and was told I wasn't good enough to be a quarterback there. I enjoyed being 2-0 against Notre Dame and 10-4 against the Steelers. So.
That is so cool.
So yes, Josh. Oh,
You got to show that on camera. That might be That's nostalgia right there. That is.
All right.
so
We
cool.
also have these awesome Kozar jackets that you can, he signed. This one here was specially signed here. Someone old school. Yeah, these are old school jackets.
That's nostalgia right there.
Yep. We can order these. How long is it? 4 weeks.
Put your name on it.
Yep, when you get your name on it. So the old school jackets, when you get your name on it, takes for their 4 weeks out that we can, purchase this and get it ordered. Coming soon, we're going to have a website that has all this product on it.
That's cool.
That you will be able to buy year round. Look at this one. Look how big that one is. You matter, Kozar, go Browns. There you go. Now wear that around.
Yep.
I'm going to buy this one for a Steeler fan. That's going to be a Christmas gift for a guy over there with a Steeler hat on. But
so as you're going to get more stuff to sign here and there, Bernie. I'm going to jump back in with some questions.
Hey, you know what? As we're signing that question, I thought I was grabbing my juice.
And you grabbed that instead, but that's okay.
You know, one of the things is this isn't all the talk health and wellness and that, but like as you really look at this stuff and we start talking about it, this is structured silver mint.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually mouthwash.
Okay.
Structured silver. And some of the things you'll start hearing me talk about, mouthwashes, toothpaste, soaps, actually have a lot of carcinogens and arsenic type stuff in them.
Mm-hmm.
Structured silver, this is actually mouthwash that you actually drink.
Nice.
And this actually builds up your immune system.
So obviously we have talked a lot about football. So I want to kind of dive into the health and wellness a little bit. We know that you graduated from the U.
Look at
this.
Wow.
They read into the notes.
Mm-hmm.
So you graduated with a degree in finance, and now you're diving into your spray relief.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that jersey. I mean, I'm an Ohio State guy, but that Miami orange, I'm telling you, it is quite nice. I mean, the orange and green, the orange, white, and green. Those Miami colors are great, but I won't turn on my Buckeyes. I'm sorry, I can't.
You know, that brings up this You Matter,
Mm-hmm.
and that's may look awkward in this show here, but like that's so cool. So I like the You Matter, and it's, I've talked through like for the University of Miami, it makes sense. This may be tough to see on a business card, but Mike, you're talking about Ohio State and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love Mike Tomczak. Me and Mike was at Ohio State when I was at University of Miami, and I'm looking for Mike's card right here. So Mike now is coaching at Youngstown State, and he has a business card. So his MRO Systems, okay, if we look really close to it, okay. So that's Mike Tomczak. Awesome quarterback for Ohio State,
Yes.
Chicago Bears, Cleveland Browns.
I was just going to say, he played with us, right?
With the Cleveland Browns, my teammate in 1992, when I was hurt a little bit, he actually played better than me, okay? He actually was playing way better than me in Bill Belichick's offense. I don't like to admit that. But Mike puts on the back of his card, You Matter, too.
Awesome.
So look at that. So Mike Tomczak, because believes in the You Matter also, and to me it shows you that it's something more than just a University of Miami thing. I got guys like that, doing it too. That really makes a difference.
And like you had said earlier, Bernie, too, the amount of people that need to hear that you do matter. I mean, growing up, we probably didn't hear that a lot as kids.
Right.
And nowadays, I think everybody needs to hear that. So I love the You Matter. I think that is just a fantastic slogan. It's a fantastic motto. A lifestyle. It's a lifestyle for sure.
It's a lifestyle. Well said.
So obviously, since you graduated with your degree in finance, did that set you up to do outside of football, to dive into your different businesses? Obviously, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about your spray relief. I mean, this stuff really works. I've heard that from multiple people since before we started tonight.
I'm a witness.
There's a witness. I mean, Tornado's a witness. You got to take that.
The the spray relief, the non-narcotic short-term spray pain relief, antimicrobial, disinfectant. When I was playing, and thank you for the compliment on my business degree and that, and I'm so proud as the University of Miami. We are now the 65th school in the AAU, one of the great academic accomplishments of universities, one of the highest academically graded institutions in the world, for sure in our country. Let me just say it was not that when I went there. It was Suntan U. Okay, so I get a little more academic prowess from that. Okay. But still proud, though, to be graduated with basically a math degree in finance and economics from the University of Miami in 2.5 years. And I'm proud to how I come up with the vitamins, the supplements, the spray relief. More of that came out of necessity from just being hurt from football. The finance degree and the math, I didn't really use it from the business side of it, because the business of it, truthfully, doesn't overly excite me. Okay. That health and healing of it, and that awesome math degree that I was able to do in finance, and that I really used what I would call an earlier version of data analytics that they use in football today. I was using that finance degree really to decipher breakdowns and tendencies of other teams and statistical probabilities of coverages and stuff back in the early 80s. So I didn't use my finance degree for any business success. It really helped me on the football field to analyze statistical probabilities of things coming up.
So what you're saying is, Bernie, is that math matters.
Oh, math
People
matters.
that say math goes away as you get older, that you just proved that to be wrong. I mean, you will use math your entire life.
Oh, I love numbers. Math is a language on itself to me.
So Ron said the U has produced so many great football players. I would agree with that 1,000%. The U has produced quite a few.
You know, we're going to show our age. Maybe my biased here. The early mid-'80s to late 80s Hurricanes teams was as dominant a run of guys. And some of the things that we were able to do on the field, I'm proud of what we did offensively on the field. But man, some of the defensive guys that we had over the years, Jesus. I mean, there's some top tier guys.
Absolutely. There's some Hall of Famers out of that group for sure.
And if I could stop for a second. I know you guys are going to talk about the spray relief, but tonight I'm going to explain the spray relief. I'm a witness. If you have a headache, spray this on your head. It takes the heat right out of you. It works. It has for me. You're driving a 7-hour road trip, spray this stuff on your feet. It works. Trust me. I do it. If you have a pain in your shoulder, spray it. It helps you instantly. But listen, tonight and tonight only. Normally on the website, this is $69.99. Okay, tonight, anybody that buys a bottle for $40, Kozar is going to sign it for them.
That's awesome. So
not only will you get a bottle of spray relief to help with the pains and the aches, you're also going to get Bernie's autograph, as a special gift there. He'll sign it right on your bottle, and then you can remember, this night for the rest of your life.
For the athletes out there, I like to claim to be an awesome athlete. I ran a 5.55 40. I lifted a $185. It almost caved my chest in. Okay, but after the 40 surgeries, 80 broken bones, stuff I've been talking about, I've been really challenged athletically, even when I was in my prime, let alone as an old man now. We had the Cleveland Marathon a couple weeks ago, and I can't even represent, because I don't want my Pinocchio nose to grow any longer. I can't represent. I did the Cleveland Marathon, but I did the 5K. And for me to go 3.2 miles, which I don't think I've ever done in my life, and then to not feel bad the next day. And I've been using this. And for the young athletes, especially training camp, when you're doing 2 days and stuff, what Tom was saying, this is FDA approved, zero skin irritants. So like when I was getting like the scrapes on my elbows or knees from getting the drug across the AstroTurf, It would stop the staph infection from settling in my elbow, because this is now as straight as my right elbow goes. It's off about 6 inches. But for the boy, the compression socks or the compression leg wear, to douse your ankles or douse your legs and then put your compression socks or your compression leg wear over it, and then just to sleep in it, it's amazing how it modulates the inflammation, takes away the cramping and stuff. And then again, for me, who's someone who did way too many anti-inflammation pills for 40 plus years that completely ate my stomach out to where now you have stomach issues with it, then or worse, getting scripted on the opiates, the pain medications and stuff. There's long-term effects with that. This kind of stuff gives you a kind of a holistic chance to get the body to heal itself.
When you talk about the spray too, we got to talk about Kozar19.com. If you buy a case of the spray relief, you're going to get a signed puzzle piece by Mr. Kozar himself. So make sure you go to Kozar19.com if you buy a case for,
I don't know what the pricing is, but tonight, your best deal, buy this for $40.
Yep.
I challenge everybody to buy a bottle. I challenge everybody to try this. This stuff works. If it does not work, I will personally give you your $40 back myself for 5-star. This stuff works. Buy this for $40. You'll get a free autograph on it, and you will be amazed. My mother-in-law was amazed. My son is amazed. Everybody I know is amazed.
So you got good brownie points with the mother-in-law?
Yeah,
there you go.
Maybe that's why I didn't get those brownie
So
points.
this is a cool one. Woodridge MSU Matter. This is a school.
Okay.
They want to hang this up, so
No, that's very cool.
that's real cool.
Somebody said this works great for gout as well.
Yes, it
so if you suffer from gout, guys, I mean, I think you need to dive into this stuff. I mean, I don't think Bernie would say it works if it didn't work. I don't think Tornado would say it didn't work.
Hey, I'll give your money back if it don't work.
You're
'cause I'm telling
willing to,
you.
you're willing to throw that
Yeah,
out, so that
40
tells me
bucks?
that
I don't-
you really believe
Trust
in
me.
it.
So my son just got married last week, and I literally, no joke, 4 bottles of Bernie spray with me, and I even Bernie said, "Hey, tell your son congratulations." I text him back a picture with me holding the bottle, didn't I, Billy? Did I not have Brady spray? I said, anybody here that's got an ache or pain, I got your bottle. So I'm telling you, I challenge you to buy it, and Bernie will sign it, and it will work for any aches and
Hey,
pains.
so wait, can I have that picture back? So
Yeah.
this is
Let's talk about this for a second.
so I wanted to say, in a little bit of levity, I say that it's antimicrobial because back in the old days, I'm under center. He didn't do as much shotgun, so I said I had ass hand.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, yeah, that's Jim McMahon told us a good story about our center.
I will say this actually will fit in a purse, in a bag. I mean, take it with you. I mean,
Buy the spray.
Who doesn't have aches and pains nowadays, or a headache, or I mean,
Yeah, I needed it to get through my 5K.
I bet. I mean, that's great. So Bernie, as you continue to sign, I mean, these are my favorite helmets. My goodness, these helmets are awesome. Can the Browns use these full time? I mean, that would be amazing. These helmets are so cool. The color, the way they shine, and then you get an autograph on top of it. Go Browns.
Yeah. You know, it's funny how you're saying that. I concur with you that they look cool and
They
stuff. So
do.
people ask me, they're like, "Hey, when you played, what was your favorite uniform and stuff?" And if you could see, I'm not overly fashionable from that. But we'd be so, at least me, I would be so focused on wanting to win that your mind was almost oblivious to, at least me, what you're wearing, what was going on around you. When you're in the zone, boy, you could just lock in on your plays.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we talked about your degree in finance. We've talked about your health, wellness. I mean, talk a little bit more about the juicing, Bernie. Like, what do you do every day now that you juice? Can you kind of talk about, like, what your daily kind of regiment looks like?
Yeah, you know what? So, as an inbred Slovak who grew up on kibasi and pierogi for breakfast, okay, not the breakfast of champions.
Nope.
We wonder why the co-stars have stomach cancer in your mid-60s. So that was food is your medicine was a big part of my initial plan of that, and the Vitamix and the juicing. As a guy from Northeast Ohio, I'm not proud to have grown. I'm proud to have grown up the way I did. Certain things, the way we grew up in terms of being useless in the kitchen, not understanding anything in terms of being able to take care of myself. You kind of get out of the ability to healthy do things. So kind of took it upon myself, and I started juicing with the Vitamix. People think that that's like, for me right now, I'm drinking cranberry, beet, celery, and ginger, but basically water. I say juicing, I say smoothies. I really mean like no dairy for me. So my juices are almost all vegetables and water, and I do a lot of it, probably close to 70, 75 to 100 ounces a day. Couple in the morning, couple at lunch, couple at dinner, and then eat what you want with it. But then also I do food is your medicine, and with the Vitamix, then smart supplementation. And it's imperative for me, like you even saw me today, I'm drinking Structured Silver, a Meal Life, a mouthwash here that you could drink with Structured Silver on it, probiotics, multivitamins, the right types of supplementation. That I could go through a lot. It'll sound like a sales thing, but I'm fixated on what the ingredients are. So whether they're good ingredients in the vegetables of Vitamix or the ingredients of what's in my Meal Life products, Structured Silver, probiotics. There's things within our probiotics that fight like staph infections, parasites that are still within my body and stuff. So any one thing I do isn't it, but it's the combination of it and the lifestyle of it. I mean, heck, LifeWave right here, which is a patch that I'm actually wearing on the back of my neck here.
I see it.
And this is probably too much for here, but right under my belly button, you wear, this is probably too much for TV. I don't want to get X-rated.
You're okay. You're okay.
But from a studying standpoint, leaky gut and digestion there's a correlation to of course your health and it, but also the anxiety and your mental health. And for somebody like myself, diagnosed with traumatic brain injury, if you remember the Tua injury this year, 2022, here he is gets a concussion on Sunday, playing 5 days later on Thursday night football. And it's one thing to say that in the 80s and 90s, we didn't understand concussions, we didn't understand pain medication and stuff. But that was 30 some years ago. This is now 2022. And when I saw Tua on the stretcher, laid there paralyzed with paralysis, and you saw him
almost frozen
up like this, his fingers. If you notice me sometimes in some of my pictures, some of my videos, some of my podcasts, in anxiety, in stress, in tiredness, I have the same thing. It's called fencing, traumatic brain injury, midbrain disorder, and you get peripheral paralysis. You'll see times where you'll be with us guys, and this happens where you have a thought in your head and it can't get from your head to your mouth, can't get for your fingers, for your movement. So you just see Tua at 24 years old, okay, basically having fencing, traumatic midbrain disorder like that, stuff I have. And then to see the doctor that was over him, Dr. John Uribe, still being a doctor, clearing him. That was my doctor in 1994. Still the system and the doctors that were crushing us in the late 80s and early 90s are still in the system, damaging young kids now. So like figuring out ways to talk about it, figuring out ways now to get guys healthy. And I don't want to see guys bluntly have the darkness. Again, I'm 59 years old. My decade of the 40s and half of my decade of the 50s was horrible. And I don't want to see too many more of my friends have to go through this. I started my journey with this more than a decade ago with, God, I get emotional with this, with Dave Durrison and with Junior Seau. I played against Dave Durrison, University of Notre Dame, University of Miami, and the Chicago Bears, Cleveland Browns. Dave, Junior Seau was with a friend of mine in the quarterback club, played against him with the Chargers. He finished with the Dolphins. Like I finished there. We used to talk about the pain in our head and trying to figure out holistic ways to do this. Part of where my mission to do this is guys like that. People didn't believe us. They still think to the degree today that we're making this up, that we're fabricating it, that we need this for attention. And we used to talk about how our heads would hurt, and people think they're making it up. And to the point where, we talked about if something ever went the wrong way, ask not to shoot ourselves in the head, but to shoot ourselves somewhere else, so that we could leave our brain to research. Yeah. And what Dave did, for that is one of the early guys of some of the, with Dr. Chris Nowinski and what he's doing with some of the research with some of the people. Tom McHale, one of my old teammates, was the second brain donated for this with CTE. So a lot of guys that I used to be teammates with, men that I was in the huddle with, men that wiped me out, that had this type issue. So one of it's trying to fix ourselves, myself in particular, some of my friends, but also it's making awareness for people that sometimes, like their children, like a lot of our children don't know us from being football players. They don't know the glory days, those cool things that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. They just know us from the screwed up days, the post days when we weren't feeling good. If my child wrote me a handwritten letter, I wouldn't be able to read it 5 to 10 years ago because you couldn't focus. You can't remember. Yeah. It's not that I didn't love my kids. It's not that I don't respect you, that I don't read your email. It's challenging to do certain things like that. And it's tough as men, as people, to admit, that those type issues are happening. So, it's not easy to talk about. It's not something I really want to talk about, but it's something that if I could help guys with it, but then also maybe help some of the people that are around us who think we're making it up or think we're spoiled. There's massively genuine anxiety, fear, and pain that are going through a lot of the guys that have these issues.
I think I speak for everybody when I say thank you for advocating for those. I mean, I don't think people really realize just how serious CTE is, and I know that you've partnered with Chris Nowinski and his foundation, and I know that you speak very highly of not only the foundation you're talking about. I mean, this stuff has worked for you. If it's worked for you, imagine what it could do for anybody else that's struggling, that's gone through a traumatic brain. Like, imagine what it could do if they juiced and drank 100 ounces of juice a day. Somebody said that they wanted me to try your juice. If somebody gets me a cup, I'll try it. I'll tell you right now. I think that if Bernie is talking about how much this stuff works, people need to try it. People need to do it. You're not just a spokesman. I mean, you've talked about your journey. You've talked about what you've gone through, and you've seen what it does. Do we trust me? I'll let somebody pour it, and I'll gladly.
You're gonna pour Tornado?
I'm gonna trust Tornado.
I don't know, man. Tornado.
You want me to do it?
Isn't it from making a mess?
Hey, while we have this minute here, I just want to let everybody know we got a 15-minute warning. So if you want any autographs tonight, 15 minutes. I challenge every single person that's watched tonight right now to hit share. We're gonna sign a massive amount of autographs in the next 15 minutes, and I need everybody to buy a bottle of spray.
Yep.
So not only are you gonna get spray relief tonight, cheaper than you're gonna buy it from the Kozar 19 website. Okay, you're gonna get it for $40 tonight. You're going to get it autographed, and Tornado's guaranteeing that it's going to work, or I'll give your
Wow.
money back. And Tornado's also going to throw in my famous random Browns signed 8x10 photo. It could be from Hanford. It could be from Cleo. They live when I throw Hanford in photos because he signs all the time. So they love to harass me. No, it could be a random. You're gonna get a 5-star photo pack with a random autograph photo. I'm throwing it in for free because I want you guys to buy this spray relief. This spray relief works. Once you buy one bottle, I guarantee you when it's out, you're coming back. The spray relief is great for, I was told firefighters, when they go into battle, it's great for their bodies. You know what I mean? Their suits that they actually, this is soaked in.
Yeah, whether it's the firefighters, which is what I kind of thought about after the fact, because really my obsession with training camp and two-a-days, every training camp you will hear about somebody dying of heat stroke and stuff. One of the things this does do for firemen and or guys going out for training camp in the heat, if you douse your skin, okay, your chest, okay, then you put your t-shirt on with the spray relief on this, okay, then you put your shoulder pads on, and then you put your jersey. So basically you've put the spray relief on your skin and then on your shirt underneath your shoulder pads. And actually in the August two-a-days, okay, will cool your core body temperature. Our body temperature is 98.7. If we can cool it 1/10 of a degree, 98.6, it slows the body from heating up, overheating. So for kids out there, for firemen that go into fights and the fires and stuff, you put that suits on in the heat, you've lost 5 to 7 pounds before you've even gotten to the fire. But for the young kids in football, we talked about post-practice, post two-a-days for sleep and for inflammation and stuff during the hot days, especially for you linemen out there that may be overweight and stuff. That type of spray relief under your jersey, under your shoulder pads will help keep the body cooler.
All right, we got somebody emailed in.
This is from Ron in Florida.
Ron, all right, picking a
Bernie
10.
Steelers 4. Well, while Bernie's signing, cheers. I will try the juice.
He's just down in it.
That's delicious.
So thanks. I tell people this. Typically, I don't make juicing for taste. I do juicing for medicine, juicing to flush you. And people say, well, I don't like it. It has to taste good. I never liked alcohol. I got guilted and pushed into thousands of shots of death, okay, that I didn't like. So if you don't like it, you could do a shot of life.
There you go.
Shot of life.
And let me tell you, we all love shots out there, right?
Who doesn't love shots? But yeah, the drink, I mean, that's something I think anybody could really tolerate. 100 ounces doesn't seem like a lot when you really think about it, and you think about all the great things that it do to you and your body.
So, and again, I say smoothies juicing. It isn't the pretty juice like this without the pulp. Love the pulp. That's why I love Vitamix. It chews it up quick, and you get the pulp and fiber in there.
So Bernie, I gotta ask, you obviously you have an adult son, you have 3 daughters. Knowing now, if you knew now what you knew then when you were playing, what would your stance be on kids and football? Would you tell them to stay away from it? Would you tell them to do it, but you be safe? What do you think there?
So that's a phenomenally great question. Let me give you a couple answers. So specifically on my children, having one son, one of the happiest days of my life was the day he stopped playing football. Got zero entertainment value and zero happiness out of watching him. The co-stars, we get run over. So it's one thing if I choose to get myself run over. I do not like watching my son do that. So I loved lacrosse. I think that's a phenomenal game for that.
Lacrosse is fun.
You know, you get the hand-eye coordination, you get the cardio, get enough contact and stuff. But I struggled with football and you know, watching my son out there. From my perspective of it, though, when people say, like they hear me say my stuff about all the surgeries, the seizures, being in a coma, the concussions, fencing now, I have to, as I get later in the night, I have to manage my brain so that I don't start spazzing out and freezing up and stuff. So, you know, that work that you have to be on point to stay in control, to pretend like you're not got anxiety and stuff, that takes that takes a lot. That takes a lot of it. But I'm kind of glad I did it and went through it, because I almost felt like I had said earlier that when I was younger, I was meant to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and that was kind of my life calling. But again, I'm not trying to maybe amplify myself, but I really think these issues, these injuries, the stuff that I'm learning to do, like who would think that juicing and simple good ingredients in your vitamins and supplements would make such a massive difference in your health and wellness? So I almost believe I kind of went through these injuries and got hurt like that for a reason, to really be able to not only be here today healthy, to take care of maybe us ex-players and us men like this, but there's really been a hyper focus of this, to where for mothers, for young parents, me and my ex-wife, we thought we knew what to be as parents when we were in our 30s, but really a lot of parents and kids don't know the right health and wellness stuff. So we're massively over scripting our young children with Adderall and Vyvanse, and we're massively over scripting young kids and our people with pain medications and stuff. So I really think I'm proud now to have actually had these surgeries and had these injuries and had this issue, because I think it's almost put me in a position of responsibility in this late third quarter, early fourth quarter of my life, Mike, to bring people awareness that there's hope out there if you have some of those issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, a huge thank you not only to you, but to Five Star Collectibles, Tornado. You got Hank producing. I'm so glad to be a part of this. Obviously, growing up and being not only meeting a childhood hero, watching you play for the Browns, and yes, you did win a Super Bowl with Dallas, but I'm thankful that you did, and I'm thankful that you're here. I'm thankful that you're sharing your story, so that maybe somebody that is dealing with what you went through knows that you matter. They know that there could be help for them. And it's awesome. So, you know, thank you to you for being here. Obviously, Kozar19.com, your website. I mean, what else can we say?
Thank you, Mike, for how you said that. And actually, for our listeners and viewers out there, you know, this is the start of this. This isn't just a one-time thing. Keep up with our journey, and I hope you don't have these issues out there. I hope you're sitting there happy and having a blast. Unfortunately, most of us aren't. So follow our journey. And let's do this together. This isn't something that you need to be in a vacuum with. You don't have to be embarrassed. You could do this together.
So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap up this show here, you know, momentarily. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 5-minute break. I'm sure I could twist Bernie's arm to stay an extra 10 minutes. Let him take a 5-minute break, and then we'll just do autographs. If anybody wants to get an autograph while it's just autograph time, you know, because I know we did on 5 Star. We're going to go on 5 Star's platform, and we're just going to do autographs. No, you know what I mean? And we're going to intermingle with Bernie. You guys can ask some, you know, throw some questions still, but it's more for if anybody wants to get something signed, and then we can, you know, make it quick, because Bernie's got a busy schedule as well. He's got to go home and, you know, get on his vitamins in his body and. You know,
vitamins. My daughter's birthday is coming up.
So for the fans, come on, Bernie. You matter, right?
You matter. Yes.
For the girls,
Kozar19.
we got Kozar19. Here again, we'll get this here more when we come back on, when we get go. Yep. So as far as that goes, we're just gonna take a 5-minute break. We're gonna get back live as soon as we you know, just fix a few things here, and then we'll see if anybody wants to get on here and purchase anything for their man caves. So everything
Sounds
else,
good.
all right. Until
All right, folks. So thank you so much once again for tuning into 330 to go. Thank you so much for Bernie for spending some time with us here tonight. And once again, it's so nice to have our sports director back in the booth. Let's hear it for Mike Voorhees. Round of applause for him, everybody.
Thank you.
Folks, that's all we got. I don't know where I'm going. There ain't no sense of being late. Everybody in here and out there, say goodnight, Shirley.
Good night, Shirley.
Good night,
good night, Shirley.